Welcome back to Seeking Strength. Today's video is brought to you by our strength stream of programs. We have our standalone squat, bench and deadlift program. And then of course we have our continuous monthly blocks of our powerlifting program, 4 sessions per week. Everything you need for your powerlifting progress.
Shane, one thing that you're kind of very well noted for, or certainly one of the ways it started popping up on you started popping up more and more on my feed years ago, is your insane flexibility. Do you think the fact that you got so big so young and you still had a lot of kind of growing to do you think that's part of the reason you maintain such good flexibility, or has it kind of just been something you've always had?
Well, so like I said, I had gymnastics background, and when I was in gymnastics, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I could never do any of the things I can do now. I couldn't do the handstands. I couldn't do the splits. I sort of had to learn those things later on. And a lot of it has, like with the splits, like I don't consider myself to be that flexible. But like for the splits, for example, that was all for me, like a big, like mindset shift more than anything else. Like I didn't go like dedicate a bunch of times to mobility or anything like that. I just changed the way that I thought about getting into the split. So instead of it being a passive activity where I'm going to let gravity kind of take me down, I'm going to stretch everything out to the point where I can get down to that position. I thought, and this is heavily influenced by Pavel Tsatsouline. He was saying that he has these 3, I can't remember his like little mantra for stretching, but there's 3 main tenets to it. One is like spread the load. There's something about breathing. I forget what it was, but mostly it's about being active versus being passive. So whenever I'm trying to get into a split, I try to maintain a higher degree of like active in the oppositional muscles. I try to keep them very active to gravity push me down, rather pull myself down into that position. So I think that's the biggest thing for me was just changing the way I thought about doing those things. But I do think I do have some amount of, when I did gymnastics, it does like enhance the kinesthetic awareness or the body awareness. I think that helps a lot too, because a lot of people, when they try to do the splits, they're like, oh, I'm going to tear my adductor. I'm going to tear this or that. But I never really feel that. I think I have a very good just sense of when my body is being pushed to the limit, and people think I'm pushing myself to the limit, but I kind of can feel that I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
I'm still in control there. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just control and being active in those positions rather than being passive.
Do you feel that helps your lifting any amount? Did you notice any change once you were able to kind of achieve some of those feats? And is it something any of your lifters you've ever kind of directed them towards, or is it something you feel that is not really that important and it's not hugely beneficial?
It depends. I don't think that it's a requirement. I don't think that it even necessarily makes me more injury. I don't think it's necessarily injury prevention. I just think that for me, it demonstrates a higher level of control. And if I have a higher level of control of my body on anything, in a way I can translate or transfer that to lifting. I just have better control. So like for my sumo deadlift, if you look at it, it's not even that wide compared to some people on the sumo. They really, really open up their hips. Their feet are basically touching the plates. I don't really deadlift like that, even though I could, because I know I wouldn't be as strong. So it's not simply reduce range of motion as much as possible, go as wide as possible. There's other factors that come into play, but I do think people should be able to do some of those things. But I don't think that everyone should be dedicating an hour every day to mobility work. I think that's where it gets lost. People are like, what stretch should I do to achieve the splits? And I don't know. I don't do any stretches to achieve the splits. You know, I'll do them randomly every week or so, but I never train like any specific stretch to do them, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
So Shane, on the subject of like your body awareness, and you're obviously very aware of what your positions are and what you're doing, and I think a lot in the last couple of years back